He's like, the finals record that I've been on, see ya and goodbye.
Guarding
exactly,
expectations, right?
That's exactly what this is. We're not expected. Don't expect me to continue to do what I did in Cleveland and carry these guys to the finals.
I think it's interesting because, again, I'll keep looking at this team and say, show me the part of the roster that you think was markedly better overall in Cleveland last year. And you add LeBron James to it. And I think LeBron is doing the right thing in guarding expectations with a young team that is going to absolutely have. We've seen every team LeBron's been on. Guys have to adjust to playing around him. Great players, marquee players, guys that were all-stars coming in like Chris Bosh and Kevin Love, who were relegated to ancillary roles. And now you're going to ask that of guys that are far less established in the league than anyone LeBron's played with before. So there's going to be an adjustment period. But overall, do we still not think that with the youth, with the athleticism, with the coaching of a guy in Luke Walton, who was a part of that Golden State regime, that this still isn't a team that's going to figure it out over the course of the season?
Not this season. No, I don't think so, no.
No.
Everybody that's putting them third and gonna be challenged, in the conference finals, I couldn't disagree with that more. Now, that doesn't mean next year or the year after. I heard you talking about it this morning. If he stayed in Cleveland, Cleveland's tapped out. Cleveland is just finding a way. I think you used the word, hockey line shifting, just trying to do that kind of things with a capped out team, trying to just put it together. Here, it's twofold. He goes to L.A., which everybody said he wanted to do, already had a place there. We know the world he wants to be in. And he gets a heck of a young core. And I get what he's saying there. The one thing LeBron is unbelievably smart.
Right.
Basketball IQ and what his surrounding is right now. And his surrounding is young talent. Didn't have that in Cleveland. Cleveland was all about some of what's going on in L.A., of bringing these guys in on one-year deals, but that was the team. In L.A., he's got this young base now that I believe he thinks in a couple of years. That's why he's insulating right now, saying we got a long way to go, that maybe next year or the year after we could have a shot at something, because I'll continue to say this roster you're going to see opening night and the roster you see opening night next year is going to be markedly different with all the one-year deals that are going on right now.
They changed lineups, 4 times basically last year in Cleveland trying to get it
But he's
done.
got his core now in these young players in L.A.
Okay, so this raises the next question, because let's be honest, LeBron going into last season in Cleveland said, I'm chasing ghosts. I'm trying to get to where Michael Jordan was and win all those rings. And obviously he has admitted in that first soundbite, hey, on Media Day, we're not as good as the Warriors. And then he went here.
I don't believe the only thing of success you mark in the season is winning a championship. There's only one champion, but that doesn't mean you're not successful. I think there's going to be wins and losses and things of that nature. But what you can control is how you prepare every day, how we prepare every day to try to get better every day. We're a new ball club coming together. Obviously, they have some returning guys, but as far as the ball club, we're all new to each other. So, we have to. Take our bumps and our bruises. We have to, there's going to be good times, there's going to be bad times, and that's what happens with a team that's new. But if we continue to work the process and we continue to, sacrifice for one another and put in the commitment and the time to being great, then, everything else will fall into place, as I said before.
Now, that's interesting, because this is his 16th season, okay? And last year, I thought for sure he was the MVP. It's the way the way, he was playing at that level. He's basically saying, the whole idea about we're going after those rings, that's not going to happen this year.
No.
He's basically saying we can be successful in other ways. Does that surprise you, considering what he's been about almost every other year in his career?
Sounded like he's talking about the beginning of a relationship, too, didn't it?
Yeah.
Just work with commitment and time. And
trust the process.
He's in a different situation. When he went to Miami, they went there with 3 stars, ready to go. In Cleveland, they were just trying to match stars to go with he and Kevin Love and Kyrie until Kyrie wanted out. Kind of like Houston. Houston is just trying to bring in the players there because they're the closest to competing with Golden State. He chose, and you heard Kevin Love talk about when LeBron left, he said LeBron loves challenges. This is going to be a challenge. It's going to be a process because we're so used to him being on a team and that team reaching the finals that it's going to be odd when they don't do it this year. And I don't think there's any way they're going to do it this year. But I do think he sees the potential of what this team can be in a couple of years while being out where I think he wanted. People that said he wanted to be out there were right on about that. That's where he wanted to be.
Yeah, I think all that historical context really does matter here because we're going to watch this team go through growing pains in the beginning and half of the season and overreact because the players around him are young, forgetting that those first installments of the Heat's Big Three had a rough start to that season. The guy in Dwayne Wade, who he had been around and known for most of his, a young adult life, who he had played with on Team USA, the Cavs team going back there with other guys that are far more complete products than these guys, it's a high variance group here, right? You've got a bunch of young guys that could take a big step forward this year.
Right.
We see young players do that all the time. The Lakers kept this group of young players around because they believe in them maybe in that regard. But the true measure of this Cavs team, we know, like most Cavs teams, is going to come after January. That's the only time I feel comfortable, Cavs teams, I should say, LeBron teams.
Right.
It's the only time I feel comfortable judging a LeBron-led team because we see no matter what level of veteran talent, star talent is on the roster around him, when it comes together at first, they tend to struggle and then they tend to figure it out once he gets through his January tantrum.
Let me ask you both this in a long-ranging question. Can LeBron James do anything with the Lakers to be, when he's done, considered the greatest Laker of all time?
Greatest Laker?
Greatest Laker of all time.
I don't think so.
The greatest Laker? No.
No, I agree.
Well,
I agree.
It's what we said at the beginning. He can be the greatest player to ever wear a Laker
Right.
uniform,
No,
like he already
You're right.
is.
That's why I didn't ask. I didn't ask that way.
Yeah.
There's no way could ever become the greatest Laker.
How?
Oh, that's what I'm asking. Maybe some people think he can if he plays there 5 years and wins 3 titles. I mean, what could do it? I don't think there's any way that he can become the greatest.
Actually,
Laker.
I'll take that back. If it's something otherworldly like that, and he rattled off a three-peat coming over here this late in his career, and was already the greatest player to don the uniform. If he came over late in the game, because I saw the Keith Olbermann piece not too long ago, how every great Laker star is really a transplant for the most part. He would be the next in a long line.
Here's
the great Kobe wasn't a transplant. Magic wasn't a transplant.